What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be raising my Z up for the winter. It's going to be sitting in the garage. My life is going to be changing a lot, but I'll be taking you guys with me on my adventures. But the Z is going to be out of commission for a little while. It's getting taken off insurance and all that. I have a lot of stuff going on with the Jeep right now. We'll go take a look at that for a minute. But today's real thing is I'm going to show you guys how to max out your already maxed out coilovers. I know a lot of guys with Z's have had this problem, that they throw on the rear coilovers and the front coilovers and they get all excited to lower it because they got them all maxed out, and the rear just like sits a lot taller, kind of rakes. It bummed me out a lot. It was like the first thing I noticed after I threw my wheels on. I was like, this is not how I wanted this to sit at all. So I did some research, figured out how to do it. It's kind of a path that hasn't really been tread by a lot of people, so there's not a whole ton of resources out there for it. But we'll go take a look at both the cars right now, and I'll start explaining to you what it is and how you can do it to your own car. So here's the old Z. By the way, every time I have these tires off, I love them even more. They look so sick. These are still the Nankangs in the front. I know. Got a lot of hate on that video. I'll probably talk about that in another video one day. But I'm adjusting the front coil right now. The rear coil is what I have slacked, so I'll show you that when I get to it. Here's the Jeep as it sits. I just put on these, kind of rice, but I kind of dig them. I just threw that in too. Again, you know, kind of rice, but I dig it. My fitment in the rear is, you know, is like that, honestly. It's pretty sweet. I threw bumpers on, I threw fender flares on. Just, you know, stuff you would do if you actually had to drive the car every day like I'm doing. So this is what an average coilover looks like. It's got the spring at the top, 2 rings there to hold that spring, and then a ring down there, and your bottom strut body. Let me clarify that this does not work on 2-ring coilovers. This is only for preload style coilovers, so keep that in mind. But this one I'm just leaving like it is right there, and I just have to adjust it. I just raised it that much. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure that and then move on to the back. Okie dokie, front coilover is raised 1.25 inches. So I'm gonna drop that collar back down and lock it in there. So I'll explain a little more what you guys are looking at exactly if you don't know coilovers. Basically these two are, I guess, preload springs is what they would be considered. Raceland has a way of actually adjusting these before you put the coilovers in. You get it to where that spring is not moving, and then you have both collars together, and you move this top collar up 5 millimeters, which is about as wide as one of the spinner wrenches they provide, and then you move that other collar up and lock it. That is how you're supposed to adjust your springs on your coilovers. However, slacking them is kind of throwing all that out the window. So just keep that in mind, that your ride quality might not be as fantastic. Me personally, I've never had an issue with it. I've driven all my cars like that for a while. My Lexus had the rear slacked, this has the rear slacked, and I've driven it like that for 2 years, and it's never really bothered me at all or made a difference. But if you're really concerned about, you know, I don't know, track racing, or you want like the stiffest possible suspension, then maybe that's not the way to go. But if you're really looking to get that little extra drop, this is what you have to do. There's nothing fun about it, but it's better than cutting your springs because at least it's reversible. So I'm gonna throw this wheel back on and then get onto the back. Okie dokie, and now you're looking at a slacked spring setup. So what does that mean exactly? That means that this spring is completely not touching the top there. So when I can get it to move, it's just not contacting the top there yet. There's still a gap in there from the top to where it touches. So you have to have the coilover out, which any of the 350 guys out there can't even bitch about. It is 1 bolt in the nut and then 2 little bolts up there, and that's it. So you take it out and you have to take off the inner strut all the way off. this part gets entirely removed, and I guess keep the spring on there, don't keep the spring on there, it really doesn't matter, doesn't really affect it that much. And then you take out the middle ring, so the same one that's this size, that gets removed, then lower the body all the way into the bottom here. That is all the threads left, but that's as far as it can go. So that gets all the way down into here, and then that color just locks in the bottom and this locks in there. If that's still not low enough, you can take out probably this one and have that one all the way down here, and just have that one ring. But this looked like the front up there, and this is what they look like now slacked. Wait, if you thought me and Tom were kidding about blowing 350 boots, hey, joke guys. I thought it was too. I thought it was just Tom. Am I gonna do anything about it though? Not a thing. It'll be alright. So now I'm gonna raise it to show you guys how much I have it slacked by. So I'm just going to turn that actual bottom ring. As you can see, it's turning like nothing until about, wow. So that is how far it's slacked right now. And that doesn't seem like much, but understand that now that spring is dropped down that much extra, and that means the strut will also drop down that much extra, as well as compressing the spring. So that little bit more drop will actually get you probably, I'd say double that, because it's a pretty decent bit that's left there. So now this coilover is raised. If I did have that ring, it would go right there. But this is just how I'm leaving it because I'm not driving it. So that'll be just fine like that. So this is my updated fitment. It's absolutely terrible. I hate looking at it. That looks like garbage. If this is how you set your coilovers and call it a day, disgusting. You should be embarrassed of yourself. Because now I have to do it, and I don't want to, but I don't want to. Actually, I don't really care. I don't care about scraping. But, man, this side's rubbing. That whole tire is rough. So now I have to raise the other side. I don't feel like doing this, so I'm just gonna get through it as quick as I can. I'll update you guys when I'm done, when I'm back inside. I got some stuff to talk about for a couple minutes, so I'll see you in a second. So that's really about it for slacking your coilovers. There's not a whole lot to it. I wrote down a couple, like, I guess commonly asked things about slacking your coilovers that I figured I'd answer really quick for you guys. So I think all these things are covered in the video, but I'll just go over them one more time just so it's solidified for everyone. You have to have the 3-ring design coilovers or preload design or whatever you want to call them. They have to be that style coilover. There's no way around that. Because I believe the 2-ring, all you're doing is slacking the spring, so it's the same thing, but for this exact particular way of doing it with taking out the middle ring, you have to have a middle ring, so pretty obvious. How badly will it affect the quality? Not terrible. Like I said, I've driven on it for a while. Felt fine to me, never really bugged me, and I guess that's really about it. So me personally, I've had a lot going on. Just to get onto a more personal note, Tom went to Jamaica and I was supposed to link up with him like last week, and I've just been very busy. Robert's in college, and me and Nathan haven't spoken in a while, neither have me and Matt. The whole Lowso group just kind of fell apart. I'm now moving. I'm moving a couple states away. I currently reside in rainy, snowy Maryland, and I'm moving down to North Carolina, which I'll be taking you guys with me for sure. I'm going to still make videos down there, but it will be a little more difficult. I'll be in an apartment instead of a house, and I don't really know anyone down there yet, so big experience. It'll be good for me, but it is a little nerve-wracking, and that would probably explain the lack of videos lately, or the lack of enthusiasm in my videos lately. I'm just a little anxious about everything going on in life, so I appreciate everyone that's supported me so far and everyone that will continue to support me. The Z is now parked away for the season. It's up on blocks in my garage under a car cover. I did that right after, well, that's the reason I was raising the coilovers in the video. Yeah, I'll still have the Jeep down there. I'll still be doing fun stuff in that. I'll probably make a lot more sit-down videos, so a lot more just talking to the camera, talking to you guys, making videos on stuff that I care about. Usually car related, but you know, if anything else comes out of the ordinary, I'll talk about it. I don't mind talking about anything else. So you know, that being said, I really appreciate everyone's support, helping us, you know, grow this channel, and it's really nice to be able to put out a video and know it goes to an audience. It never really bugged me before, because I still think some of our funniest videos have less than 100 views, but it's cool. It's cool to know that there's people out there that watch and care. But I don't know. Guess that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.